Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we have a bunch of news about the upcoming balancing patch that is scheduled to go live with the new operation here in Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So just in case you guys have been living under a rock and aren't aware, in just a couple of days time, Operation Absolute Zero is going to be ending on the PlayStation 4, and when that happens, a brand new operation will be going live. We've covered in recent videos over the course of the past couple of days all the teasers that have been revealed to us so far, and suffice it to say, it's going to be a pretty big operation with a ton of content coming with it, and today we got new details about all the balancing changes that will also be going live on the same day as that new operation. Now, I want to warn you guys, there are lots of changes to a bunch of different weapons and specialists and score streaks and perks and things like that, though after going through all these changes, I honestly do think that this update is going to make the Black Ops 4 multiplayer much better. Bad guns are going to be getting stronger, really good guns are going to be brought back down to earth, score streaks in general are going to be a lot better than they were before, and some of the most annoying specialists in the game are going to be heavily nerfed. We're going to be covering all these changes here in today's video, and to make things a little bit easier to follow, I'm going to be putting the changes on your screen as I cover them, though before we get too far into the video, I would like to let you guys know that all of these changes are going to be exclusive to the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, because that's where roughly 99% of the Call of Duty community plays, and so therefore we're going to be covering those changes first, and at the very end of the video, I'm going to quickly cover all the changes that are going to be exclusive to the PC platform. But with the introduction now out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and jump right into the patch notes, and kicking things off here, let's talk about the specialists. When it comes to Prophet, his Seeker drone is going to be significantly nerfed. What they're going to do is they're going to reduce its hit points by so much that it dies to one bullet from seemingly any weapon. They're also going to be nerfing its detection range against enemies with cold-blooded, which not only makes the Seeker drone worse, but it also makes the cold-blooded perk a lot better than it was previously, and I think these are both really good changes. Next up, we have Ajax, and what they're going to be doing is they're going to be reducing the brightness of the flash that his 9-bang causes. They're going to make it so when you get hit by a 9-bang, you can change stances, which means, of course, you can go prone and get behind cover if you can actually see where you're going. And finally, they're going to make it so if you're wearing Tactical Mask and you get hit by an enemy 9-bang, you will no longer raise up your hand and cover your face like an idiot, and rather your hand will stay on your gun, which will actually allow you to defend yourself. So these are really good changes. Between Prophet being nerfed and Ajax being nerfed, these are really good changes in general, though unfortunately that pretty much does it for the specialist tuning. I would personally really like to see them nerf Zero's EMP grenade, because that thing is freaking ridiculous for how often she gets it, but overall I'm pretty happy with the changes that are going to be coming to Ajax as well as Prophet. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at the changes that are going to be coming to the weapons. There are definitely a lot of changes here, but like I mentioned earlier, there is not a single change here in these patch notes that I personally disagree with, and I'm interested to see what you guys think down there in the comment section below. First up, let's take a look at the assault rifles. When it comes to the Rampart 17, they are going to increase its maximum damage range by 4 yards, which may not sound like a lot when you say it like that, but remember that Call of Duty maps are actually quite small, and increasing the Rampart's range by 4 yards is roughly the same as increasing it by 11%, which should definitely be a noticeable change when you're actually playing in-game. Next up, we have the KN-57, and what they're going to be doing to that gun is they're going to be increasing its maximum damage range by 2 yards, which again may not sound like a lot, but that translates to about a 14% increase. Next up, we have the Vapor, and what they're going to be doing to this gun is they're going to be giving it an increased 5-shot kill range. They're going to be increasing it by 15 yards, which translates to a 44% increase, which is absolutely freaking insane. In my opinion, the Vapor is already a pretty good gun here in Black Ops 4, and now its 5-shot kill range is going to be much further than it was before, and on top of that, they're also going to be reducing its idle sway to make it a little bit easier to use. Next up, we have the Maddox, and unfortunately for you Maddox fans out there, the Maddox is going to be significantly nerfed. What they're going to do is they're going to increase the recoil of its first 5 shots, they're going to reduce the effectiveness of the quick draw 1 attachment, attachment, the Quick Draw 2 attachment, as well as the stock attachment. They're going to make it so you have more recoil while using the Evo sight, and they're also going to be reducing the maximum damage range of the Maddox by about 3 yards, which translates to roughly a 12% nerf. Now, the silver lining to all of this is they're going to be reducing the recoil that the Maddox has with the Echo Fire Operator mod, but that's not really a good change in my opinion, because the Echo Fire Operator mod's already kind of bad, and if you're going to be reducing its recoil, that's not really going to help the fact that Quick Draw 1 is now nerfed, Quick Draw 2 is nerfed, stock is nerfed, as well as the maximum damage range. So overall, the Mags is getting quite a hefty nerf, but that pretty much does it for all the assault rifle changes that we're going to be getting on Tuesday. Moving along here to these submachine guns, we have the MX9. This is one of my favorite guns to use in the game, and what they're going to be doing is they're going to increase its 5-shot kill range by about 38%, which may sound insane, but remember that the 5-shot kill range on the MX9 is really freaking bad already. So what this really translates to is the 5-shot kill range is going to be increased from 5.5 yards up to 7.6 yards, which is not super crazy by any stretch of the imagination, but it's going to be a nice buff nonetheless. And on top of that, they're also going to be increasing the aim down sight speed of the MX9, which in theory should help better define the power gap between this gun as an SMG versus assault rifles at close ranges. Next up, we have the GKS, which will have its 5-shot kill range increased from 2.7 yards up to 5.5 yards, which is actually a pretty huge buff when you consider the fact that this is actually more than double what its 5-shot kill range used to be. Moving along here to the Spitfire. If you're a fan of the Spitfire, you're going to be disappointed because it's finally getting all the nerfs that we all knew it was eventually going to be getting. So what Treyarch plans to do is they're going to be reducing the maximum damage range of the Spitfire by 2 yards, which translates to about a 22% nerf. They're also going to be reducing the benefit that the Spitfire gets from the stock attachment. They're going to be reducing the increased magazine size that it gets from extended mag, and they're also going to be slowing down the reload speed benefit that it gets from the fast mags attachment. Overall, these are actually some pretty significant nerfs, because I don't know about you guys, but the only attachments I use on the Spitfire outside of the Wildfire Operator mod would be extended mag and fast mag, right? And both of these are now going to be a lot less effective than they were before, while at the same time, the Spitfire itself is going to be doing less damage at range, and all in all, they should in theory make the Spitfire a little bit worse than it was before and make it more in line with the other submachine guns in the game. Next up, we have the Cordite, and what they're going to be doing here is they're going to be reducing the effectiveness of the grip attachment on the Cordite, and they're also going to make it so the belt feed operator mod takes longer to cool down once it's overheated. Moving along here to the SOG 9mm, this gun actually received a lot of nerfs. They're going to be reducing its sprint out speed as well as its base movement speed to be in line with all the other submachine guns, which is technically a nerf to the gun itself, but in reality, all they're doing is making it so the SOG is the same movement-wise as the other SMGs in the game. On top of that, they're also going to be reducing the effectiveness of the stock 1 attachment, the stock 2 attachment, and the grip attachment for the SOG, and they're also going to be reducing the hipfire accuracy of the dual-wield operator mod and reducing the maximum damage range of the dual-wield operator mod by 3 yards, which translates to about a 25% nerf. Now, last but not least here, we have the Damon 3XP submachine gun, and what they're doing to that gun is they're going to increase its maximum damage range by 2 yards, which translates to about a 30% increase. Overall, looking at these changes to the assault rifles and the submachine guns, it looks like Treyarch's goal here is to make guns more lethal at longer ranges. Sure, there are some smaller changes here and there when it comes to attachments or aim down sight speed, but a lot of these weapons are getting increased damage at longer ranges, which should in theory lower the amount of gunfights where people feel like they put 10 shots into somebody without them actually dying. I have a feeling that after Tuesday's update, the overall time to kill and the time to die here in Black Ops 4 is going to be a lot faster than it was before, which is actually something I'm pretty excited about. Now, don't get me wrong, you guys know me. I love the very slow time to kill that we have here in this game, but I think it could stand to be a little bit faster than what it currently is, especially on certain weapons, and it looks like that's exactly what Treyarch set out to accomplish when it comes to this new balancing update. Now, mind you, so far we've only covered the assault rifles and the submachine guns. We still have the LMGs, the tactical rifles, the snipers, the secondaries, the perks, and the Scorestreaks to go over, so buckle in because it's probably going to be a much longer video than normal. Moving along here to the light machine guns, the Titan is going to be getting its long-awaited nerf, though I'm not sure it's exactly what we thought it was going to be. So what they're going to do is they're going to take the maximum damage of the Titans, like the most damage you could possibly do up close, and and they're going to reduce that from 46 damage per bullet down to 38 damage per bullet. On paper, this actually sounds like a pretty good change because the Titan up close is going to be doing 17% less damage than it did before, but with how the math works out, the Titan is still going to be, after this update, it's still going to be a 4-shot kill just like it was before. Because of this, I'm not entirely sure that this damage nerf is even going to be noticeable in player versus player combat. It might actually be noticeable when you're trying to take down enemy score streaks or enemy equipment while using the Titan, but that's pretty much it, right? It's still going to be a 4-shot kill, and because of that, I'm not entirely sure this is going to be a good change, but it's going to be a change nonetheless. The other update they're going to be making to the Titan is they're going to be reducing the flinch resistance that it has when you're in a gunfight while using the Titan, which in theory should make it so it's a little bit harder to use, but again, we're going to have to wait and see how things are going to play out. Now, moving along here to the tactical rifles, the Auger is going to be getting faster aim down sight movement speed, a faster fire rate, and its double tap operator mod is going to have a faster time in between its shots, so overall the Auger is going to be much better than it was before. The ABR-223 is also going to be getting faster aim down sight movement speed and faster sprint out speed, and then when it comes to the Swordfish, they're going to be giving it faster aim down sight movement speed, and strangely enough, of all the things they could do to the Swordfish, they're going to be buffing the effectiveness of Quick Draw 2 on that particular weapon. So from the sounds of it, it looks like Treyarch wants to buff the tactical rifles to be a bit more competitive with the assault rifles and the light machine guns, and they're looking to do that by making it so the tactical rifles are much faster handling weapons in general, which I personally think is a really good idea. The Swordfish is one of my favorite weapons to use in this game. I must admit, the ABR is starting to grow on me, and I still hold the opinion that the Auger, especially with double high caliber, is one of the most underrated weapons in this entire game, and so as a result, if they're basically going to be building the benefits of the stock attachment into all three of these guns, I think they're going to be pretty freaking scary. I can't wait to see how these guns are going to perform after Tuesday's update, but moving away from the tactical rifles here for a second and onto the sniper rifles, they're going to be buffing the fire rate on the Outlaw yet again, as if it's even possible to make the Outlaw fire faster than it already does. They're going to be buffing that yet again, and they're also going to be making it so the Koshka has less idle sway than it did before. That pretty much does it for all the changes coming to the primary weapons, and at this point in the video, I would love to ask you guys, what do you think of these changes so far? Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments, because in my opinion, the only really questionable change they've made so far is not further reducing the Titan's damage to make it a 5-shot kill up close instead of a 4-shot kill up close. With the damage nerfs that they plan on giving it, 4 shots from a Titan is still going to do 152 damage, which is barely enough to kill somebody up close who doesn't have a crash shield, and even if they were to nerf its damage by just 1 more point, the Titan would go from a 4-shot kill down to a 5-shot kill, which would drastically change the overall feel of the gun and the meta of the Black Ops 4 multiplayer. Who knows, it may actually make the Hades the new OP gun. I really have no idea, but all I do know is that the Titan right now is really freaking good at any and all ranges, and these nerfs aren't really going to change that really whatsoever. I have a feeling Treyarch is going to continue to keep an eye on this gun going forward, though to be honest, if they haven't made it a 5-shot kill over the 4.5 months of this game's life cycle so far, I really don't see them making any more changes in the coming months, but of course I could be wrong, and I would love to hear what you guys think down there in the comment section below. But like I said, the primary weapons are now out of the way, so let's go ahead and move on to the secondary weapons. First up, we have the RK7 Garrison, which according to Treyarch is going to be receiving an improvement to all of its damage ranges. They wouldn't give us any specific numbers or anything like that, but apparently it's going to have better ranges across the board and just be a better weapon in general, which I personally think is a pretty good change. I remember when I was going for Dark Matter, I was constantly surprised as to just how bad the 1 burst range was even in the hardcore game modes. I'd be over here sniping people from across the map while using the Strife, only using 1 bullet. Meanwhile, people are like 20 feet away from me, eating 2 or 3 bursts at a time with the RK7 Garrison. So from the sounds of it, after Tuesday's update, that's no longer going to be the case, which is pretty good news for those of you guys who are putting off going for Dark Matter here in Black Ops 4. Next up, we have the MOG 12 shotgun. What they're going to be doing to the MOG 12 is they're going to be increasing its maximum damage range by 0.35 yards, which is a net increase of about 9%. They're also going to be increasing the benefit that it gets from the quick draw attachment. They're going to be increasing the accuracy, the pellet damage, and the range benefits of the barrel choke attachment, and they're also going to make it so the Dragon's Breath operator mod now does 1 quick burst of fire damage instead of doing fire damage over time. The idea behind this is it's going to make it so that the Dragon's Breath Mog 12 will get a lot more consistent one-shot kills up close, which means that the fire shotgun is going to be even more annoying to die to than previously. You don't see them too often, really. It's very rare you run to a fire shotgun, but it's going to be a lot better after Tuesday's update, which is definitely pretty interesting. And last but not least, when it comes to these secondary weapons here, they're going to be reducing the blinding effect that the strobe light attachment has on the SG-12, which I think we can all agree is a pretty freaking welcome change. I mean, if you think it's annoying to die to the SG-12 now, just know that the SG-12 you see right now is a nerfed version of the SG-12 that we saw back at launch, and apparently they're going to be nerfing it even further on February 19th. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much does it for all the weapon changes that are going to be coming to the game this Tuesday. Are they good changes? Are they bad changes? Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. And before we wrap up the video here today, let's go ahead and quickly cover all the other changes to score streaks, equipment, as well as perks. In general, as you guys can see, the score streaks are going to be either stronger or have more survivability than they did previously. Streaks like the drone squad and the sentry gun are going to do more damage and be more effective, while the sniper's nest is going to require one more rocket to destroy. There isn't a single nerf to any streak here in the patch notes. Every change that is being made is a change for the better, and one awesome change here is that score streak team kills in hardcore will no longer count towards the team kill kick limit, which means that finally, after all this time, you hardcore fans will be free to use whatever streaks you want and not have to worry about accidentally being kicked, though I have to wonder, are people going to grief with this, right? Are people going to intentionally call in things like the Thresher to team kill? Are they going to intentionally try to kill each other with the gunship? I suppose time will tell. But taking a look at the perks here, the biggest change to the perks would be that the fire and radiation resistance benefits of the tactical mask perk are going to be taken away and moved over to the flak jacket perk. If I had to guess, they're probably doing this because flak jacket is pretty useless in its current state. It's a wildly underused perk here in Black Ops 4, and after Tuesday's update, Flak Jacket will now protect you from explosives, fire, as well as radiation. This is definitely a pretty big nerf to Tactical Mask as well, but remember that Tactical Mask will now have increased protection against the 9-bang, against the concussion grenade, as well as Prophet's Tempest Rifle. Now, speaking of the concussion grenade, starting on Tuesday, players will be able to stun themselves with the concussion. Apparently you couldn't before, I never actually knew that, and players using Tactical Mask will no longer raise their hand when they're hit by a concussion grenade, which is also a pretty good change, just like with the 9-bang. On top of that, the frag grenade is also going to be receiving increased damage, and the final change for this video, ladies and gentlemen, is the acoustic sensor is going to be nerfed, because on Tuesday, the acoustic sensor will have a much smaller range at which it can detect enemies, and an even smaller range at which it can detect people who are using dead silence. I'm actually very excited for this change, because believe it or not, acoustic sensor is the reason why I don't play Search and Destroy in this game. If you guys recall back during the beta, I told you guys I would be playing a lot of S&D this year, and during October/November, I started to do that, but I quickly gave up on the game mode because I realized that all the quote-unquote good players would sit in the back of the map just listening for people with acoustic sensor, and that really made the game mode not fun for me to play whatsoever. If any perk, in my opinion, needs to be all-powerful, it should be the perk that makes your footsteps silent, because it allows people to actually rush. By making it so something like acoustic sensor is more powerful than dead silence, it rewards players for not moving and listening as compared to rushing and moving about the map, which is really bad game design, at least in my opinion. So I suppose we are going to just have to wait and see what the extents of this nerf are going to be like on Tuesday. But ladies and gentlemen, those are all the balancing changes that will be coming to Call of Duty Black Ops 4. I remember that Treyarch was teasing to us that this is actually going to be a pretty big balance update, and they weren't kidding, man. They changed up so many things about the Black Ops 4 multiplayer, and I'm excited to see how the game is going to feel after all these changes. And one final time, I would love to hear what you guys think down there in the comment section below. Now, two more things before we wrap up the video here today. It has been officially announced that League Play will be coming to the PlayStation 4 on Thursday, January 21st, and then presumably 1 week later for the Xbox One and the PC. And on top of that, there's also going to be another balancing update, which is going to be specific to the Blackout mode, though unfortunately, Treyarch says we are going to have to wait until the 19th, which is going to be the patch day, to see the official patch notes to see exactly what is going to be changing within the Blackout mode itself. And as always, I will keep you guys posted with more details as they become available. But until then, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.
Keep it down, we're not done yet.